Hi everyone, welcome back. I wanted today to talk about the 5-year Hobonichi journal and why it didn't work for me and what I'm going to do differently in the next year. So my 5-year journal is this one here. I bought the 21 to 25 version because I really liked the 1 to 5 idea. I had this whole idea of capturing like a proper set of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Anyway, it didn't work. So I just wanted to quickly tell you that I bought it in this cover. This was the Bloom gift set cover. Absolutely love this. It's gorgeous. Doesn't have a closure, which the 5 years, a lot of the 5 years don't have a closure. I've popped my everyday journal in here because it's so chunky and it just holds the chunk very nicely. So yeah, that was the cover that I originally purchased the 5-year in. So let's have a look at this and why it didn't work. I'm going to take this out of here. I find it a bit distracting for what I'm doing. So this is the Search and Collect cover. I just thought it was very pretty, so I grabbed it. The 5-year journal itself, though, let's take it out and look at it on its own. Came with this pencil board with that cover, very pretty. I think it's gorgeous. So it has each, as you probably know, it's just got the 5th of November here and then space for you to write what happened in 21, 22, 23, 24 and 25 and a blank spread on the other side for you to do whatever you want. As you can see, I didn't get to the end of the year in any of them, in any of the years. We have a calendar at the front for each year, so 21 through 25 calendars. And then what I decided to do, I decided to record the place where I was at the time. I was actually in Queensland with my family. The temperature, top and high and low, so 28 and 24 degrees, and then a little bit about the day, and then I decided to write the word of the day from the Merriam-Webster Instagram account. For what the word of the day was, just do a bit of lettering and write the description of the word, and yeah, I thought that was a great idea. So I started out okay, just doing a few things in here, but then all of a sudden there was this thing called COVID. So I decided I wanted to record, and I went back and retrospectively added this. So here I'm back in Melbourne, and it's the 27 degrees top and 17 low, and then 32 active cases, 3 new, and a total of 820 deaths. So grim stuff that I'm recording, right? Like, why? I just thought historically it was a good idea to do that, right? I just really wanted to do that for historical reasons. So here again, I've just written 33 for the number of cases. I've got the temperature again, and then again just the number of cases. Later in the year, when things were crazy, I moved to just writing the number of active cases, and I don't know. I think because of a couple of things, it didn't work for me. Writing the word of the day on the side here, that was a bit of effort. You know, I tend to do this kind of journaling on the couch, and to do that, you know, fancy lettering, I wanted to do it to improve my lettering. I wanted to practice every day. But the way it worked out is I didn't do it daily, so I'd have to then feel like I was catching up and do 5 or 6 at a time, and then I'd have to go scrolling back through the website to find what that word of the day was, and it was very, there was a barrier because I'd have to go and do all that crazy work to fill it out. I'd have to also then go to Twitter and find out how many cases there were. I had to scroll back through Twitter to find. There's probably a website that tells you, but again, you have to go somewhere and get it and find it and put it in here. And the temperatures, I had to go back to the an app on my phone to find the weather for the previous months or whatever and write all that in. So I just felt like I wasn't filling in anything on the day that had happened because I'm generally, when I'm in the mood to do this kind of thing, I'm on the couch. This wasn't with me on the couch. I had my weeks with me, and I'll come to that in a minute. So I would kind of retrospectively fill this in, And I think that's the huge failure. The failure for the 5 year is to have it as something that you'll fill in later, after the fact. Go back and fill them in. It has to be, in my opinion, it has to be go to it every day or maybe every second day and fill it out. Because if you have to catch up, it becomes a real chore. So a few problems there. Going back to find things like the weather, the number of active cases and what the word was. The lettering of the word becoming quite a, having to go find it, but also I want to do a good job of the lettering, so I want to take my time. I should be doing that at a table. I'm not very neat at the best of times, let alone sitting on the couch. So, I loved the idea of the word of the day, but I just couldn't bring it into practice. At the same time, what I do daily is record my day in my weeks. So in here I've got my Hobonichi weeks. This is this year's one, the 2022. My beautiful little celestial moth here from Point Blank Co Stationery, and my little Coffee Monsters Co charm, the top there, and this gorgeous Hello Paper Cat. Anyway, I digress. So in here I am actually recording stuff that happens on the day-to-day, right? On this side, I was just writing something that happened that day. My first Magic Maker video, Hobonichi day, as in everything arrived. I got a promotion, my Ferris wheel press stuff arrived. And on this side, I don't really want to reveal the private information here, but on this side, I write everything about my day. So what I was doing was having a look at this and then going back and filling in this. It seems counterproductive, right? Why do things twice? It just doesn't make sense to me. So the other thing I'm doing at the same time, let's come back to that, is this is my health journal, which I really love, but I am going to change it up a bit next year. In here, I'm filling in my sleep, my movement, my food, my medications, or how I'm feeling illness-wise, my hydration, and some me time. And I'm doing that every day. However, I really fell off the bandwagon because I'm picking up all these different things. I'd run out of some of the stickers, so I kind of fell behind there. But regardless, it was a great system. For probably about 8 months of the year, I did really well with this. So I have to pick up my health journal, I'm picking up my weeks, and these are the two things that will continue in maybe different forms. But I'm picking these things up already, and then retrospectively at some point going back and filling it in here. So I really struggled. Let's write this down. I really feel like I want to write this down. And this book is finished now. I'm not going to use it anymore. I may come back and use it as a journal or something. But so firstly, finding data for weather, COVID, etc. 2, lettering the word of the day. 3, doubling up on my journal, which is in the weeks at the moment. I think those are the main things, really. I won't write anything else because the doubling up is the one that's the real problem. Okay, deciding to do these things, I think, was a great idea. They were super cool ideas, but I don't have the time in my day to be able to do that on a daily basis. Maybe doing this every couple of weeks or something. I just don't think. I really love the weather, and I think a lot of us who plan and journal really have a thing for the weather, or at least recording it. And I kind of love the idea of seeing the different temperatures and how the weather is behaving across the 5 years I think that's kind of a cool thing to track. But it all exists online already. Someone else is doing the math. So if I was that desperate to find out, I could go find out. And for me, the barrier is when I need to catch up, like if I'm 2 or 3 days behind, having to go and find that information and put it in the book, it just is too much. The Word is great as well. I love that. And I have come up with a different way of doing that, and I might show you that another time. But yeah, the lettering of the Word was a good idea, but I just can't fit it in. So the big deal for me really was doubling up on my journal. So I'm already writing everything that happens in my day in here. So why am I going back and doing it again? All right, let's have a look then at my plan for next year. This beautiful thing is just going to sit on the shelf until I decide what I want to do with it. I thought about maybe like painting the pages with gesso and then using this as a long-term journal, just like creative journal, just to put stuff in. But I have other things to do with that, so I may not end up doing something like that. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to decide. So now I have the new 5-year journal. I've got the rivet band closure on it just to hold it together. And this one, let's take it out actually. No, let's not. This one starts next year. It's 23 to 27. I don't give them a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anymore, but who cares? That was silly anyway. So the difference between the previous years and next year, my plan is that I will use this as my daily journal. Seems obvious, doesn't it? But instead of writing everything in my weeks, which I do nearly every day without fail, it takes me a couple of minutes and I'm done. Instead of doing that in here and then transferring to here, I'm going to cut out the middleman. I don't need that one anymore. I'm going to just do it straight in here. There's plenty of room to journal about my day. It's actually more than what's in the weeks. Let's compare. That's a good idea. So we've got this much space here in the A6 5-year, and then we've got just this tiny bit of space here in the weeks, which is great. I mean, it was all I needed. Everything worked really well, but I have the ability now to have a bit more space to write in. I may still record where I am. I might write the city that I'm in at the time. That's probably not a problem. That's easy enough to do. I don't have to look back because I know where I am. But what I thought I would do with this page on the right, so here's last week in my weeks. I wrote down on the right hand side Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We did a strategy planning session at work, like a big fancy one with the board and everything. On Tuesday, the highlight of my day was a strawberry shortcake that I had at lunchtime. It was amazing. Wednesday, I wrote down chicken broth because Thursday I had surgery and I had to fast. I could only have clear liquids. So I wrote down surgery and I wrote down From Scratch, which is the Netflix shorts limited series. Fantastic, by the way. Just check it out. It's great. Bring tissues. So I thought what I might do is on the day that I'm journaling, on the current day, if on the 24th of March next year, something big happens or middling happens, you know, something was a highlight, then I can maybe just write it in pencil and then at some point letter that in. I still get my lettering that way. I can grab one of my fountain pens, even just a fountain pen, and write that in. Maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just use a fountain pen and write in somewhere on the page, whatever that was. And then in 2024 on March 24th, maybe something cool happens then as well, so I can write that in. Or I could draw a picture of it or something. Or I could stamp. I don't want stickers. I do want to keep it fairly non-chunky. So I could put stickers, I could put stamps in here as well. Anything like that. But I think the real game changer for me is to no longer be using two journals. Why would I journal in my weeks? Pretty much exactly the same information that I'm going to put in here anyway. I still have a creative journal, which is that one I showed you earlier. Like I'll still have this one as a place to put the ephemera of my life. And I can do some journaling. I still do journaling in here. Like I write in here as well about whatever's happening. So that's still something that I can do, but whenever I want. These dates really mean nothing to me. If If I know something's happened in July, then I'll put it in the July section, but I'm not a stickler for what date it is, and if I am, then I will write the specific date on there. For example, I have this envelope in here with a receipt in it, and I've put it on the 16th of April because that was a spare spot, but I actually wrote it was the Monday the 8th of August 2022. That's the day before I got COVID, actually. So it was a spare spot, and I popped it in there. I don't care. Like, it doesn't matter. This is about the collection, not about the specific dates. You know, this all happened in 2022. So that's really all I care about. And I've been able to collect some beautiful memories in here. In here, I just want to record those memories in pen. I just want to know what happened and then see how things have changed over the coming 5 years. I think that's the point of this journal. That's why we do it, and I really can't wait to get started next year. The hardest part is always making that first entry, but we just have to get over that and just write. It doesn't matter what your writing looks like. It's your writing, and I think that, again, is something nice to record over the 5 years to see how your writing changes. Like, that's quite interesting as well, to see the difference between 2023 Desley and 2027 Desley in terms of writing. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to write in here. Will I be using fountain pen? I kind of wanted to use one fountain pen for the whole year and then change to a different one for the next year. Can you imagine? Different ink, colour, you know, all that kind of thing. I have my beautiful Ferris wheel press inks here. I think those will be beautiful to showcase in here. I'm on their creative team, so I get to try out new inks all the time. So maybe my favourite ink of the previous year could be the ink that I use for the following year. You know, all sorts of ideas I have floating around my head, and it's only October, so I have a little bit longer to decide what to do. But I'm really happy with the idea of having a single place to record the day's thoughts. If I wanted to do like morning pages style writing, then that's not for this. That'll be in one of my other journals. I've got so many journals, it's not funny. But this is the one that will be the memory keeper. This will be what happens. This will be what I look back on over the 5 years to see how my life has changed over those 5 years. If I had recorded the previous 5 years, I think I'd be amazed at the difference. You don't really notice, I think, because you live it day to day, you don't really notice how far you've come until you really sit back and take stock. And I think it'd be much easier to do that if you're recording in something like this. You know, I love when a Facebook memory pops up or the Instagram archive pops up and says, you know, this is the post that you shared 1 year ago today, 4 years ago today, whatever it might be. Having that in writing and being able to read through the years, I think that's a wonderful thing. So I'm really excited about this. I absolutely can't wait. And I'm keen to hear if you also have a 5-year journal this year. I know a lot of people, I think a lot of us were very much influenced by James L. Burke Creative over on YouTube, where he has been using this exact red cover for a few years now. I think he's on his 5th year next year. And I think we were all heavily influenced by the red cover because of him. I know I was. I'd seen it on the website, but seeing it in James's hands, it just looks gorgeous. And then when I get it in my own hands, oh my God, it's amazing. I absolutely adore it. I think it is beautiful. I wanted to pair it with my pink Kaveco because I love red and pink together. I just think that is a stunning combo. But I may not. I'm not sure. I do love that. That's gorgeous. This currently is uninked. I need to add some ink to this one, so I'll be doing that shortly as well. So look, stay tuned if you're interested in the 5-year journey. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to share of the actual words because I do tend to put pretty personal stuff in here in my everyday journal, and that's what it's for, right? But I can at least share the right-hand pages with you for the big stuff that's happened, I think. yeah, I'm really keen to, you know, fix what I didn't do properly last time. This poor old guy just failed. I think also it was the time that we were in, you know, a pandemic hitting the world, global pandemic. I really thought it would be a great way to document what happened throughout that time, not really knowing at the beginning what it was going to turn into. And I kind of wish I had done it properly, but also, you know, it was an awful time and we all lost a lot of motivation for a lot of things. So I don't think we can blame ourselves for any of that. I think we embrace the mistakes or the things that we want to just recognize and then just let it go, move on and start out fresh in this beautiful red book for next year. All right, guys, I guess that's enough waffling from me, but I really enjoyed this chat. I've been thinking about this for a long time. And I knew the reasons why I was not going to use I was not going to use 2 journals next year and I'm just going to use my 5-year. I've had that pretty set in my head for some time now, but getting it out here with you guys is actually quite useful. It's my first look at the next year in terms of the journals that I'll be using, like the first showing you guys what it's going to be, but also the first time I'm really thinking about what I'm going to use each book for. And I actually write it all down in my traveler's notebook. I do a dear diary, here's what I want to do with my planners, or here's the planners I want to buy kind of thing. And that's pretty good actually. That helps me kind of figure out what I'm going to be having. But actually sitting down with the book, opening it up, looking at it, that really helps cement the plan. So that's the 5-year plan. I think there's no setup to be done for this. It's ready to go. I'm not going to add any die cuts or stickers. You know, I had all this kind of stuff stuck in there and I love this kind of stuff, but I just don't think it's kind of appropriate for what I want to be doing in this book. I don't want distractions. I just want to be able to have this next to me on the couch where I do my thoughts at the end of the day. I really kind of just spend my time there in the evenings usually and just capture whatever's happened that day. And that's what I'd prefer to do. I'd prefer to do it day by day rather than catch-up style. The catch-up just, you know, you just forget things. You forget the important things that might have happened. So I'm keen to do this properly. I really hope you enjoyed this video. And again, if you are a 5-year person like me this year or next year, please let me know. Did you buy the A6? Did you buy the A5, the big one? Or do you have a different brand altogether? I'm keen. I really am keen to hear about these. I did have many years ago a Kiki K 5-year. It might have been a 3-year. I think it was a 5-year. And it had a different prompt for every day of the year. So that was kind of cool. I really remember, the one I remember, I don't remember many of them at all. I did actually write a blog post each time I filled it out. Maybe once a week I did a blog post, I think, back in the old days. But anyway, the one that I remember the most is, what is your dream place to live? As in, well, you could interpret it however you wanted. And I said an apartment in the city overlooking the lights of the city. That's really what I wanted at the time. And that's where I am right now. So I wish I'd kept that one up as well. I kind of let it go after a while too. But it would have been good. I guess that was probably 2017, I'm guessing. That was my the start of my Kiki K phase. I think it was 2017. So it's now 2022. So 5 years later, I am where I had said I wanted to be. And I've been here for 3 years now. So the things you will find when you look back on your life, hey? All right, guys, I really should stop waffling. This was very chatty. And if you're still here at the end, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's continue the chat in the comments if you have time. I'd love to hear from you. All right, guys, that's it from me. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all again super, super soon. Bye.